Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that's based around the idea of creative problem solving. And there's two inspirations for this particular hypnosis session. The first is a very early creativity model that, from recollection, and I must have seen this in a book, I think, by Robert Dilts, maybe 25 years ago, which was about the Walt Disney model of creativity. And if I recall it correctly, it was this three different perspectives on creativity. So Walt Disney would start off with this very creative, imaginative, optimistic, full of magical ideas. And then he would go to this devil's advocate perspective and try and rip the idea to shreds and try and attack the idea, find all the reasons why it wouldn't work. And then whatever he was left with would be the ideas that he would then get this very pragmatic approach and think, how do I turn this into reality? And obviously Walt Disney is credited with being not only a very creative person, but someone that left a huge legacy. He created a lot of movies, but ideas for theme parks and all these things. Some people are great at ideas and not so great at execution. Some people are great at getting things done, but not necessarily coming up with ideas or solving problems. So that model of having three different approaches within an individual is quite useful. So that's the first inspiration. The second inspiration is a book I read in the 90s called The Six Thinking Hats by Edward De Bono. Edward De Bono was a British creativity guru, consultant for the big British firms at the time. But he came up with this concept of six thinking hats, where each color of the hat represents a different style of thinking. So there's the white hat, which is more kind of information gathering and factual, the yellow, which is more optimistic. And in the hypnosis session, you'll hear the hats being utilized to bring about a different resource state to deal with an element of problem solving so that you get good ideas, but also you've got the resources to spend your time in an efficient way on the thing that's actually going to solve the problem. Because not all problems need a solution, and not all solutions are worthy of the time invested to create that solution. Sometimes it's better to leave something. So all of these things are fused into this problem-solving hypnosis. It was created for a client that had a few problems in mind. But the language I use in this hypnosis session is designed to be so that whatever problem you bring into the hypnosis session, you could utilize it for that. So what I would encourage you to do is to think of a real problem that you're facing now. Could be a problem related to your career, or a social problem, or a relationship problem, or an emotional problem that you're dealing with. But have something specific, one problem that's affecting your life that you can hold in your mind as we do this hypnosis session so you can put it to use. Obviously, this was created for an individual client. So if you feel like it might be useful to work one-on-one with me to create hypnosis sessions based on your individual needs, there will be a link in the show notes. But you might find that this hypnosis session is quite helpful just because it's created to be quite broad and versatile and to fit into most problems. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, imagine breathing in a feeling of calm and warm relaxation. And as you exhale, relax any tension in your eyelids. With your eyes closed, feel that it's okay to exhale any tension, any stress, any worries. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that any muscle tension in your neck and shoulders is starting to melt away. That you're feeling, as you breathe in, a lack of tension in your chest and your lungs, so you can breathe in deeper than you normally would. And as you exhale, notice that you're breathing out deeper and for longer than you normally would, giving you a feeling of resourcefulness and letting go of any worries, any stress, any echoes of the past. And I want you to get a sense that life is a game with never-ending challenges. And some people will label a challenge a problem, and other people like to think of problems as gifts. And the reason a problem could be a gift is that if you don't know how to solve the problem, you have the gift of learning. And once you've learned how to do something once, the human brain generalizes to give you the gift of being able to solve any similar problem in the future. There was a time you didn't know how to tie your shoelaces. That was a problem. But when you learned how to solve that problem, it's no longer a problem. And you don't worry about tying your shoelaces. And there's so many things in life that you don't worry about at all. Because at one point in your life, you figured out how to solve that problem. And the gift was, you never had to re-solve the same problem. So I want you to get a sense that challenges and problems are gifts. The gift of learning, the gift of growth, but also the gift in creativity, in solving the problem to begin with. You can consider your life that of a detective. Any problem or challenge probably comes with the clues needed to solve the problem. If you don't know how to solve the problem, it's highly likely that someone somewhere in the world has already solved the problem that you're attempting to solve. And 50 years ago, you might struggle to access that person and their knowledge and their solution to your problem. But now, just a quick search online may reveal an article, a video, a resource, a forum that goes through the exact problem that you're facing or something similar to it with the very solution to that problem. They say it's smart to learn from your own mistakes, but it's even smarter to learn from the mistakes of other people. So before we go into this adventure in your imagination to empower you to get even better at overcoming adversity, navigating challenges, and creatively solving problems, the first question is, has somebody already solved this problem I'm attempting to solve? And how do I harness that knowledge so I don't have to learn it for myself? As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you're walking into a luxurious department store. Maybe you know it's luxurious because maybe it has marble floors. Maybe it has people at the front opening the door as you arrive. Maybe you can tell from the size of the store, the brands that it stocks, the overall ambience that you get in this place. And I want you to imagine going in towards an elevator, seeing all the different floors, and for some reason the department that sells hats is all the way in the basement. And I want you to imagine that you're pushing the number to go down, deeper down, into the depths of your imagination. And I'll count down from 5 to 1. And you will imagine what it would feel like to go deeper down in your own imagination. 5, feeling more relaxed. 4, feeling it becoming easier to breathe. 3, releasing any tension in your neck, shoulders, arms and legs. That's it. 2, even a yawn can be a clue that your body is desiring to relax. And then 1, just feeling like you're opening a portal deep into your subconscious mind where change can take place. And then see the elevator doors open. Feel like you're walking out to a department full of stylish, colourful hats. But this isn't any ordinary hat department in a department store. This is a hat department of magical thinking hats. Each colour represents a different way of thinking about a problem or a challenge. And I want you to get an idea as you look around the hat department that the white hats represent the need for data and facts to gather information. You could almost consider it the detective. I want you to get a sense that the blue hats represent planning. The planning or the process needed to make something the way you would want it to be. I want you to imagine that any yellow hats represent optimism. Positivity. An idea that something could work really well. The red hats represent your emotion, your intuition. Enabling you to not rely on what you know, but utilize what you feel. The black hat has the goal of ripping your ideas to shreds, playing devil's advocate, telling you why they won't work. This is the sanity check. There are many people that have good ideas, but don't consider why things won't work. Imagine the green hats represent creativity. And I want you to imagine we're going to go on a journey of thinking. I want you to imagine somewhere in this hat department is a cinema screen. And on that cinema screen, I want you to picture a problem that you're facing right now. I want you to think of the details, and I want you to find a stylish looking white hat. Put the white hat on and start asking yourself everything that you know about this problem. Who's involved? How long has it been going on for? The details. And just imagine that the cinema screen in front of you is showing you all the details you need to know, all the facts, the information. Any numbers you need to know, just imagine you can see them on that screen. As you feel the power of the white hat is empowering you to gather the information. And then I want you to imagine that you're taking off that white hat and you're wearing a very stylish yellow hat. And now I want you on the same cinema screen to imagine an optimistic future, a solution. How would you want things to be? You don't need to know how it will happen yet. But sometimes imagining how you want it to be can open a portal to the resources to increase the probability of achieving that desirable outcome. So just imagine that if everything were to happen the way you things would want them to happen, what is the most desirable, optimistic, positive solution to this problem, and see it. See the future as you would want it to be. Imagine putting that yellow hat down and wearing a green hat. Maybe it's a baseball cap, maybe a top hat or a bowler hat, but it's green. And it represents creativity. You know how things are, and you know how you want them to be. So what new ideas, what possibilities could bridge the gap? What could solve this problem? Perhaps it's something simple. Perhaps it's a solution that worked in a different area of your life, in a different context, and maybe that same solution or same approach would work here with this problem. Maybe the solution to the problem is to get help. Find an expert that knows this problem very well. You don't have to do everything yourself. Sometimes finding someone else that has successfully solved this problem for other people may also be the solution for you. As you feel yourself wearing the green hat, just imagine the ideas come thick and fast, like you're streaming, mind mapping different solutions to the problem. Nothing is off limits, just ideas. And you can see the ideas bursting onto the cinema screen, not knowing whether or not they would work or could work, just that they may work. And then of all those ideas, I want you to imagine you're changing the green hat for a red hat, and you're allowing your intuition to guide you intuitively to the most probable solutions to this problem. This is not requiring logical thought. This is requiring intuitive guidance, your gut feel. What does your emotion say about the solution to this problem? Activate that incredible intuitive emotional part that may give you, either instantly or at some point in the future, a blast of inspiration, an epiphany, a eureka moment. Now that you've gathered the information and explored a few solutions, trust your intuition to be working in the background constantly until it comes up with a powerful possible solution. And then imagine swapping the red hat for a very stylish, slick-looking black hat, maybe a bowler hat. And of everything that you've seen so far, now I want you to think of all of the problems, the difficulties, the dangers. I want you to be the voice of doom and gloom and negativity, going through everything as to why it won't work. Imagine the worst case scenarios. Imagine that there is a lack of competency. Imagine that some ideas will rely too much on variables outside of your control. But I want you to notice that there is something necessary in this so-called negative thinking. And that is, try as you might to discredit, devalue, and destroy all of these ideas. Some of them you can't. I want you to imagine this black hat thinking is like sifting through the silt and sand to find the nuggets of gold, and that whatever is left is the gold, is the best ideas. The best ideas aren't always the most creative. The best ideas are the ideas that will actually help you make a difference to get to the ideal outcome that you would want in the simplest and most efficient way possible. I want you to feel proud of that devil's advocate way of thinking and see there is a few nuggets of gold left as to the solution of this problem. And then imagine putting a blue hat on, unlocking your inner pragmatist, the part of you that is good at thinking about chronology, sequences, what has to happen first and then next. What resources do you need to implement this idea? And imagine on that cinema screen, there in the middle of that hat department, thinking it through logically as to what would have to happen, in what order, what resources or people would you need to arrive at this solution. Imagine that you are the architect. You are the foreman. You are the director of the movie. You don't have to be doing everything, but you observe everything. You are the conductor of this orchestra, and you can make changes as needed in real time to ensure that a solution to the problem is found. And then imagine seeing that solution again as you find yourself again wearing that yellow hat, full of optimism and positivity, feeling that not only is this solution possible, viable, but it also means that once you solve this problem, you can solve any similar problem like it, meaning that you're becoming more valuable, more strategic, more valuable in all areas of your life. I want you to get a sense that you can go through this process with any problem, any situation, weighing it up as to what will work, but appreciating there's always a trade-off. Sometimes it's worth asking, you can solve the problem, but at what cost? Ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the time, energy, and resources that the solution to this problem would take worth the solution? And if it is, then just agree that you will do that as soon as you can. And if it isn't, just imagine going all the way back, putting on that white hat and gathering more facts. Because sometimes the best course of action is to decide that no course of action is needed, and to take those resources and walk away from that opportunity cost and take those resources and invest it in solving a better problem. If your unconscious mind feels that it has new ways of thinking, evaluating, to give you more of what you need and want and less of what you don't, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to feel like you are unlocking all of the resources necessary to empower yourself to get quicker and quicker at solving problems. Delegating problems to those that are uniquely equipped to solve them. And deciding which problems aren't any problem at all. I want you to feel that you're going back into that elevator, keeping that yellow hat of optimism and positivity on, going back up to the ground floor, leaving the department store as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose, feeling like you're returning to the present, still feeling optimistic, enthusiastic, and positive about your future. as very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, optimistic, and enthusiastic at solving those problems that need solving and building momentum, energy, and positivity in your life. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.